So good Saturday morning to everyone out there in YouTubeville. This is Tenacious Earl, and we're going to um, just go with a little different philosophy here, at least for this morning. Excuse me, I should have cleared my throat before I got started here. So, basically, we are a world that is in near lockdown. Shut-in status, trying to avoid most contact with other human beings, which seems like a rather antisocial thing to do. But guess what? We still have ways to contact. We've got, I've been using this webcam here all week to keep in touch with some of my coworkers, as I'm sure many of you have as well, maybe family, maybe friends. And so, we can still connect. And that's what I'm hoping to do today, is to establish a couple 3 hours here, maybe 3. It could take that long because I really have done nothing to prepare for this, of just keeping the line open. And, I might have to wander off for a minute or two. We'll take a little break. I'll put up the screen. But I think for the next couple of weeks, we're going to have to maybe see a little more of this, where it's just like, let's connect, let's interact, let's do this together. Because right now, a lot of us can't get to our workplace, to our schools, to our stores somewhat. We do get there, but do you really want to go to the store when it's you're worried about, I'm hoping that we're more on the side of being too worried, but I'd rather be too worried than not worried enough. Worry is a tough thing. Nobody wants to be worried, but taking precautions and planning for what could happen, what may be the problem, what may be a problem. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think you'd rather be safe than sorry in most cases. And like I said, with the technology we have, whether it was ever planned for this reason or not, who knows? Probably not. But, guess what? We have reached a point where we have this technology. Now that we have a near disaster. And why does this look like it is not showing up as a live stream on here? That's weird. No, we do have some viewers here. It's weird because on my desktop, it's not really, or on my YouTube account, it's not really showing. So my personal YouTube, that's usually how if someone could just give me a thumbs up or a shout out in the comments if you're hearing all of this, that would be great. I hate to be broadcasting here with basically on radio silence. So it's also a little warm with the lights on. So give me a second while, and here goes my something else here. I'm going to try and set up a little fan to try and keep it tolerable as far as the temperature in here. There we go. Hello, Joey Perchy. So hopefully if you're hearing this, that means you are hearing it, and that makes me happy. So excuse me. We're gonna have a lot of this today. We're in a time where you not only have Corona, you've got whatever other garbage has been floating around for the last 100 years. And as far as like, and that's not even counting allergies. I don't know if I have allergies, but so we're gonna play APBA soccer, and basically it's the next game on my list. Not a really interesting matchup. Swansea, one of the in this season the only Welsh team in the Premier League. So uh, most countries run their own soccer association, and I believe Wales does as well. There's like a lower division, but Swansea and Cardiff are two teams in particular, that Cardiff City and Swansea City, that got into the English um, football association because they wanted to play at a higher level. And both of those teams in the last decade have been in the Premier League from time to time. Obviously, if you know anything about soccer, you have promotion and relegation, and most of the rest of the world, the U.S. is one of the few that doesn't. But in the rest of the world, they do, and so a team could be in the Premier League one year, and then if they finish in the bottom three, they get relegated, and then the top three from what's called the Championship will ascend and promote into the Premier League each year. So Swansea is one of the teams that has been relegated since this, which is the 2017-2018 season. Now, what I'm doing here is another game in the Crazy Premier League Cup, or Crazy Prem Cup is what I call it. And my tactic in doing tabletop sports is to try and find ways to condense while keeping a fair amount of realistic achievement or result to things. You know, that's a challenge when you have things that are a certain length of time, to then be able to condense them by a fraction of that, and to say, can I assimilate, or can I assimilate? That's something completely different. Can I simulate those results on a shorter time frame? And so that's kind of what I've done with this. So I took the Premier League, which is 20 teams, and fashioned a World Cup style cup competition. So it's a little different because it's five team groups. I made seeds, so it's a little bit like, as well as like the European Cup, if you're familiar with that kind of situation, where they have pots. They have pots in the World Cup too. So the top teams get put in a pot, and you draw one from that pot for each group. So that way you have you don't have centralized power based on just randomization in one group. So we did that. So Swansea and Bournemouth. Bournemouth's what you would call a mid-table club. So in the U.S., we talk about standings. In Great Britain, at least, and probably in some of the other English-speaking nations, they would call it a table. I don't know. They might call it a tableau. I don't know. In like France or whatever. So I'm not sure. I've never been to France. I did study French, but not enough about League One or anything like that to really be able to, or Liga, if you want to call it that. But they call it a table, and so you've got traditionally, for when I was really into soccer early, or much earlier, the top four was your Manchester United, Liverpool, Arsenal, and Chelsea. But then you had Manchester City and Tottenham kind of get in on this of late, and now kind of there's been a resurgence of Liverpool, where they took a dip for a few years. But anyway, so when I say mid-table, let's say from around 6 to 15 or 16, that's mid-table, I would say. Just like you might have a chance to sniff the top 6 if you have a really good season, but you're probably going to be in that 10 to 12. If you're not doing so well in the mid-table, you have a chance at maybe getting pulled into the relegation scrap at the end of the season. Excuse me. I'm going to kind of keep it real today. I'm not worried about time. We're stuck here anyway. So that's fine. And then you've got sort of those guys that are minnows. Usually involves the teams that just promoted. Sometimes you get a team like Leicester City, for instance, who won the Premier League a few years ago. When they promoted, they had some strong financial backing. A long time ago, Manchester City was in the championship. They promoted. They had some strong financial backing. Those teams usually get right up into the mid-table right away. They consolidate a little more. They then bring in some more high-priced talent. Usually, of course, the so UEFA, which is the European body, they've tried to make that tougher because they've tried to institute spending caps in a way, and it's a bit of a fraud because you're capped based on your revenue. So a team that doesn't have much revenue, they can't go. So teams like Bayern Munich, Manchester United, Barcelona, Real Madrid, because they have like huge fan bases, they can go out and spend as much as they want. But the little teams who then get rich benefactors, they have to sort of like build their fan base and build revenue streams before they can then go and spend crazy nowadays. Or at least some teams will just take the hit on that or a little bit. Usually what it means is you're banned from European competition, which maybe if you can get through a couple of years that, then you're okay. I don't know. It's still an evolving situation. But anyway, we've got Swansea in this cup, and I'm going to bring up the screen here now. I feel like I've talked for a while, and I mean to... Oh. I wanted to bring this up. So this is the table as it stands of each group. And on the right is probably a little more... I might move my ugly mug up here in the top left and shrink it a little bit there. So on the right there kind of gives you a over here. I got to look at the the cursor that's on my little program here. So you've got Tottenham. They're pretty much slated for the first from A. Liverpool is first from B. So A and B, because this is Group B, we still have, like I said, Swansea and Bournemouth to play. You also have Brighton and Hove in Group B. But you had Manchester United. They're in second place in Group B. West Ham United, second place in Group A. So A and B are pretty much set. We're going to, later on in the weekend, or maybe next week, we're going to do Group C and D. But today we're going to... So down here we see relegation fight. This is something that I'm going to do after I get done with all the rest of the stuff. I do want to then simulate a small group. Basically a double round robin of these teams down here at the bottom. So Southampton is settled as the team coming out of Group A that's going to be in the relegation fight. And then Swansea is stuck there because, as you can see over on the screen, they have 0 points. Right here they are. 0 points heading into this game. You can only get 3 for a win, so Bournemouth is already ahead. Now, what could happen here is Bournemouth could end up in third place. As you can see, right in this area, we have third place right now, Brighton and Hove, because they beat Manchester United in a game I played yesterday, 2-1. They actually moved above Bournemouth, but Bournemouth could then move ahead of them if they can win this. And obviously they would, if they drew, they would tie, and they would win on goal differential if they were to draw, because their goal differential wouldn't change, and that is the same. They would have the same points as Brighton and Hove Albion. So, but what that also does is over here is third place. 2 third place teams are going to get into the final stages, and then what's going to happen later on. You see the seeding here. We're going to have 2 byes. At the moment, it's Tottenham and Liverpool. That's because those teams have both played all 4 games. We may end up with Manchester City or maybe Chelsea. We'll have to see how that all works out, ending up in that other component. But then what we would do is 3 versus 10, 4 versus 9, 5 versus 8 to get 8 teams, and then the lowest seed would then face Tottenham, the second lowest, Liverpool, yada yada. If these buys don't change. So, but anyway, so what we're doing today, Swansea has nowhere to go. They're basically going to be in a relegation. Okay, so I didn't finish, I think, what I was going to say about the relegation fight. You do the double round robin. Whatever comes from that, the lowest point getting teams get relegated. The one that comes out on top, they would stay in. And so that's kind of the way I'm simulating this. It's going to be tough for 3 teams, but that's the way it goes. And yeah, so what we have here is Bournemouth needing a point, so basically a draw, to ascend above. Now, if they could win, they would guarantee they'll be at one of the 2 third-place teams. If you look at the way the points shake out, Newcastle United is already in 3rd place in their group, and they have 4 points, so that they're not getting into it. You still have Stoke and Arsenal, who could both win and get to 7. You have, which is weird. You also have Huddersfield Town at 6. So that's, and then you've got, Everton. Now Chelsea's already there at 6. So, this is, Group D is interesting because you could get, based on the matchups. And if I come over to the screen and look at my fixtures, you have Watford and Everton. So Watford and Everton. If Everton beats Watford, moves up to 8. You got Burnley and Albion, who are both out. They're with 1 point. They cannot get up there. But if Everton goes above them, then Chelsea would end up with 6. You could see Chelsea get it because they already have 4 games played. So it's kind of an interesting thing. Watford has been a surprise. Why does it say? Antisocial thing to do, but okay, so does seem to be working. I thought maybe this was not working, but it is. So we're going to get started in this. I'm going to take a quick minute break here, so be right back with more from the dugout here. We'll do some more. We'll do some soccer today, so be right back. Okay, so I'm gonna take a second here to adjust my settings. So I've been using my webcam for work. Which makes it kind of tough to use it for other things because I end up, let's just do that. Got plenty of light from other sources here, and I'm going to make another little, no, that's okay, I guess. All right. I relocated my webcam because I have a different setup for my workstation. It looks like I have autofocus set on here again somehow. No autofocus. And now let's get the brightness right. Brightness. Okay, now one of the challenges of all of this is that it's kind of tough to show you everything on my table when I'm playing a game like this, because it's really an expansive setup here that we use for APBA soccer, but I'll do the best I can. So I use 2 score sheets. This is my tally up sheet where I put my lineups and I keep track of all of the stats after the fact. And then I use this sheet, which is my play-by-play, because I like to record play-by-play. And I probably have shown you that before. So on here I can list the teams. Swansea City and AFC. AFC stands for Association Football Club. And that's probably the most neat I've written those 2 things ever in my life. Seems like when I'm trying to write carefully, it ends up being I end up making it really ugly. And then when I try to do it nice and neat, it's a little nicer. So Swansea, it's 0-0-3 is the record. Where did I put my... Oh, it's right here. The first mistake of the day. Some people would say playing soccer is the first mistake of the day, but 1, 2, and 0 is Bournemouth. So they're currently in 4th place, Swansea in 5th. Okay, back to my screen here. Okay. And then I always put my project 2017-18. Crazy Prem Cup. This what I put for match week is I put the group and the match set. So in a cup competition, you've got like group days or whatever you want to call it. There's an interesting sound coming from somewhere up there. I don't know what it is. It sounds like a funny cricket. So the venue, Swansea, is at the Liberty Stadium in Swansea, Wales. How about that? We're doing a game in Wales. And not like the ones that swim around in the sea kind of whales. Okay. Might be next door. It sounds weird. Oh, and I was going to mention about the AFC standing for Association Football Club. It's interesting because in America we call it soccer, and soccer comes from Association Football Club. There's the SOC in association, and the Brits came up with the word soccer to be sort of short for association football. But when Americans use the term soccer, and if you use it with a guy from Great Britain, they will usually be like, I don't know what soccer is, it's football. And they know what soccer is, they're just trying to be smart because they like to be that way sometimes. I'm sure that they get sick of hearing Americans try to tell everybody else how great their sports are when people from that side of the pond are pretty happy with what they've got already. But anyway, so how do we do this? So I use now one thing we could do here is we could say for Swansea that they are basically screwed from the get-go, right? They're here. I'm going to take it to this other screen. So they're basically screwed from the start. These are my team sheets. So I got to get to Swansea's. They cannot escape fifth. So because of that, they may want to take whatever discipline problems they have, which is multiple yellows. So if Leroy Furr or Martin Olsen, who have yellows in previous games, you can see this. Let's see, where can I go? Right down here. You can see that down there at the bottom of your screen right here. They have 2 yellows. And if they were to get another, then in this relegation fight, at least in the first game, those 2 guys would be disqualified from that first game because in a cup competition, in 2 yellow cards lead to a ban. Is basically they try to keep things neat and tidy and try to make sure that there aren't guys taking too many liberties. And I want to go into my book here and check Swansea's previous games because it surprises me that they don't have other discipline and that maybe I just forgot to write it down. All right, where? So this is C. So there's Manchester and Liverpool, Bournemouth and Brighton. Okay, so we need to go back farther. Back farther in the book. I keep all of my stuff in a book. So there's Bournemouth. There's Swansea. Swansea versus Liverpool. Which game was that? That was probably their 3rd game. No, B3. Yeah. No yellows for Swansea there. I don't trust my own. So this is Swansea and who? Manchester United? Nope. Brighton and Swansea. Yeah, there we go. Swansea had a red. Fernandez. Interesting. Well, they used a guy that was out in their previous game, so that he's going to be red carded for this one as well. So that's again, that's why I was looking back, because I figured I might have messed something up here. We're going to say into game 3, so he is suspended, and I don't have that listed. So we're just going to have to deal with it for them. So he's going to sit. Didn't help them to play that he played in game 3, but so Federico Fernandez is going to be one of the guys who is considered out. So I break my cards up into the top 11, and then the typical subs, and then I have all of the other guys in this other pile. Oh, you can't even see it. Well, you can up in the upper corner. So what I then do is, now that I've got this, so I take this, and in soccer, usually there is some level of change game to game. The way I do it is, these cards have a number, the upper left corner, 22 in this case. I take the first number, so that it's 11 through 66. Every number is represented in from like 11 to 16, 21 to 26, 31 to 36. If it's 11 to 36, there's no change needed. If it's 41 to 66, there's one, they need to make one change, and then we do something else. So in this case, it is 33, so no changes are necessary for Swansea. But we already said that Fernandez, he's on a red. Leroy Fur, the Dutch international, and the Swedish international, Martin Olsson, those guys are all going to be. So after the group stages, cards are abolished unless you accumulate the 2, which means you have a ban for the next game. So they will forget about their cards after this, and so Swansea will have a clean slate going into their relegation fight. But now I'm going to take you over here to, and I'm going to lay these out on the table here in the formation that we are planning to use. So I have listed there on the left-hand side. So if I bring this over here, you can see with my cursor how we have more or less a, let me get this out of the way again. There we go. Okay. What's basically a 4-3-3 or a 4-5-1, depending on how you want to. So this is what I consider to be their base set. So Fabianski, he's the goalkeeper. Wait, why is it Carroll? Fabianski. Sorry, my bad. Fabianski, goalkeeper. And then we're going to do the back line, which is Naughton. Kyle Naughton is going to be on the left. Actually, I'm wrong. It's going to be a 3-4-3. They use a 5-man back line if you want to count the outside midfielders. So Naughton. Now Fernandez is their center back. Actually, I'm wrong. Naughton is their right, we'll call him right wing back or right midfielder. I'm all messed up here, so apologies for that. Kind of getting myself. I'm not the most comfortable person in the world right now with my nose is itching, and so anyway, this is their 3-man back line. Mawson, it would be Fernandez, and it would be Vanderhorn. So we have a spot we need to fill there. Then we have Naughton. So when you have this 3, you can also consider these guys, which the left midfielder is Olsen. So we're going to have to find that space. So 2 out of their back line are going to be changed. And you got 2 central midfielders. One is Fur and the other's Carroll. So Carroll, we'll put him there. We're going to have to find one more for them. And then their front line are the IU guys. Andre Jordan, and then Wilfried Boney. So kind of tough to see because I got some other stuff here. Get out of the way. So what do we need to do? We need to come over into another screen. Now this is a depth chart that I had made for a different. Remember when I was doing? So I was doing a project before I was going to simulate the whole Premier League, which was a rather long. That would have been long to take care of. But this, I came up with this depth chart, so I'm going to use this. So I could probably use either Key. So I was using Fur because of the number of times, but Key is another guy who could be used in Ki Sung Young. So we're going to use him in place of Fur, and that will also provide a little more offense probably than Fur does. Where's Fur? Oh, they're over here. Although they're ranked pretty similarly, they're both 7s, so they both have some defensive prowess as well. But now let's see. Olsen, Klukas, Samuel Klukas is the reserve left midfield, left back, whatever you want to call it. You can see that right over here. So he's going to go in there, and then we've got our backups. So it would be, sometimes you would use Naughton. Let's see, in the right midfielder, you could also use, well, I think Dyer. We're gonna bring Nathan Dyer in, and we're gonna move Naughton to center back. Well, right center back. And then we'll just make our subs a little different. So we could also use Rangel, but Dyer played a lot more, and he hasn't really shown up much. If you could see him at right midfield. So, there are times when you would play. So Swansea is a team that would play 5 men at the back sometimes, and other times they would maybe take. And I don't know. Maybe in this case, you could even view it. Maybe they're going 4-4-2 because they don't have one of their center backs, and then they just make Boney more like a center midfielder or a left midfield or something like that, and move Ayu up top. Soccer formations are oftentimes fluid, and you can make changes on the fly. Guys are often multi-positional, but this is how we're going to do it right here. So you can see it's kind of like a 3-4-3, but you could view it more like this. And mostly what you have to analyze are the way, if you're going to actually analyze a team's formation, you probably have to look at how the players approach their position each time, as opposed to just saying, oh, because it looks like it's this shape when they're playing defense, that it's this shape. There's a little more nuance to it. But anyway, so this is the team set up. Let's go back to here. Now we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So Nordfeldt is their backup keeper. He didn't appear at all for Swansea in real life in that season. Maybe he did in cup competitions. I'm not sure. So you've got, I like to have 2 defenders, 2 midfielders, and 2 forwards. We have Tommy Abraham as a forward. So we're going to try and find another forward because we're kind of like, and guess what? We can't really find one. So what we're going to do is we're going to take another midfielder who has some offensive prowess. Let's take a look and see if Renato Sanchez came in or out. in. Yep, we can use him. So we will use Renato Sanchez as sort of like an attacking midfield who would come in. And we already have King as a midfielder, so we need another defender. We'll use Olsen. So that gives us 1, 2, 3, and then we'll put Fur in as he could come in as a sub if they need him. They'd rather not use him because they don't want him to get a card because then he'd be out of the next competition. And we put Fernandez at the bottom of the discard pile. And I put them right back into the envelope. And then these guys, who are the substitutes, go up on one of my little shelves there. And unfortunately, you can kind of see that because of the because of the fact my camera has to be positioned where it is. Let me see if I can. I don't know if there's any way to fix that much or not. The more I try to fix it, the more it wants to tumble down. I think if I do this, that'll be a little better. It's starting to fall again. All right. And see, we're at a point where Amazon is not going to do a whole lot to deliver things like cameras, or not cameras, but like wall mounts. All right, it seems stable, but I'm not real thrilled with. All right, that's going to have to do for now. So then what we do is we arrange these by offensive number. You see right there it says... all right. This is where it's going to take us a while to play this because I'm going to have to do some adjustments on the fly here. We're going to do autofocus, apply. So you can see here, hopefully this focuses at some point. Or not. There it went. Briefly. There. So offensive number is, it's 18 for Jordan Ayew. So he actually ends up being first on the list. And so then you take it from the highest number down. So Ayew is 18. Then you've got Andre Ayew, who is 8. Ki Sung Young, who is 5. And then there's a lot of 4s here, and I go by who is farther forward. Boney is. Carroll is. And you got Klukas, Mawson, Naughton. They're outside center backs. And then you got 3s in Dyer and Vanderhorn. And then finally Fabianski. So, and let me also add that I'm going to be, like I've said before, I'm going to be adding, hold on, 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 6, got one too many defenders. Let's get Connor Roberts out of there. So you can only have 7 substitutes. I realized that I forgot to put the reserve goalkeeper back in there. So, alrighty. I'm going to be writing stuff down and doing my normal calculations. Like I said, we're doing, basically today, I'm just doing it. And without any pretenses that this is going to be a short broadcast. This is going to be a longer broadcast. It's for fun day. We're all inside. Although, go take a walk. Nothing wrong with that, eh? But, you know, these are weird times indeed. Something that I have never experienced something like this in my life. And, you know, a snow day or 2 or 3 is common. But a full-blown, almost near quarantine is not something that we experience on a regular basis in this part of the world. And that's just too bad that we're dealing with it. Oh, and where did I put my... There you are. I kind of made that sloppy. I do like to have things looking at least fairly decent on my sheets. So if I slop something up, I try to fix it. But as I said before, is in terms of the way the world is right now, thank God for progress, where we have lots of technology available so that we can actually communicate. You know, we can do at least some of our jobs at home. Kind of tough for a guy like me because I'm a scientist and science is kind of tough to do at home. Okay, so next thing I have to do, I've put this all together. As I've said, this is a 3-4-3, or we could call it a 5-4-1 if you really want. But what you have to do is you have to add point values for the various positions. So you get 1 point if you're a forward, 2 if you're a midfielder, and 3 if you're a defender. Now, let me also preface this by saying, if you go on the Delphi forum for APBA games, there is a thread that's the mini Premier League run by a guy named Mark Finzel, or Finzel, maybe that's how you say his name. Mark, I apologize if I've butchered your name. I said it 2 different ways, so in one case I probably did. He has come up with a better way to assign defensive rating, team defense rating. I still go by what's in the book, which is basically, as I said, so a forward gets 1 point, a midfielder 2, and a defender 3. If you add those up, and it's between 21 and 25, then the team defensive rating that is listed on the team sheet that you get from APBA is correct. If it's 20 or below, then you have to subtract 1 from it. If it's 26 or above, you get to add 1. So we've got, what is this? There's 4, 7, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So that means that we're going to have to subtract a defensive rating from Swansea, which their defensive ratings are already kind of on the low side. But we'll worry about that when the time comes. I just have to remember when I look those up to do that. So then the next thing that I do, one thing that you could do it 2 ways. This is so when it comes to fouls, assists, and injuries. So this is fouls that are suffered by a team, fouls that are committed by a team, assists and injuries. There are ratings on the cards that will guide you in assigning. So let's say someone on Swansea has a foul committed roll off their card. Well, they're the ones that get fouled. You need to figure out, or no, if it's foul committed, they're the ones that do the fouling. They get hacked. No. I'm messing this up. They're the ones that are doing the hacking. So start over. Stop. Reverse. I don't know. That's from Spaceballs. I forget. Anyway, because this is an important point. So let's say Tom Carroll gets a 48 right here. 63 is a 48. A 48 is a foul committed. That means that he committed the foul. He did something that fouled somebody else. We're then going to figure out who was fouled. So who did he foul? And that's when we use these other ratings which are on the card. And you can do this one of two ways. Either you can write down the rating itself and then just do the calculation in your head as the game goes on, or you can pre-calculate the ratings in order of 1 is the highest rating down to 11, which is the lowest. And the other thing that I do, and so probably good that I'm showing you how I do this, because I think it's a pretty good system. It's just for consistency, and I've thought through why I would do it this way. So let's take for foul committed. Who is the highest foul committed? We've got Vanderhorn. So the goalies are almost always, I don't think I've seen one that isn't 0 for everything except injury. But foul committed is, so Vanderhorn's 2, Dyer 2, Naughton 2, Mawson 1, Klukas 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, 4. Jordan Ayew is the one who commits the most fouls, so we assign him with 1. There you go. So then we go with the second. So because 4 is highest, then next would be 3. I didn't read off any 3s in here. So then we have to go to 2. Now there's a bunch of guys tied for 2. My way of doing it is, for foul committed, I go from the lowest on the list, which tends to be your defenders and your guys who don't have as much offensive mindset, up to the higher ranked on the offensive side. So Vanderhorn with a 2 is going to be number 2 on my ranking. Then Nathan Dyer is going to be number 3 he has the same rating. Naughton will be 4. Mawson was rated 1, so we're going to skip him. Klukas rated 1, so Carroll is 2, so he's going to be number 5. And then Andre Ayew will be 6. So then we go back to 1, so that'll be Mawson will be next. That's 7. Klukas 8. Wilfred Boney 9. Ki Sung Young is 10, and then finally the goalkeeper is 11. Foul suffered is going to be the opposite. We're going to go the other way for that. And so we look at the numbers. So let's just take it from the bottom here, because so we got foul suffered for it's going to be 2, 2, 2, 1, 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 6. Jordan Ayew is the highest, the most suffered player on Swansea, so he gets a 1. Also, before we keep going, so partly what the number signifies also is how many of these slots on here are given the numbers that bring it up when you roll. So, for instance, let's see. So 26. Unless you have a 0 on a card, 26 is always a 49, which is a foul suffered. So if you're a foul suffered 0, which I could find you a card here in Swansea, I'm sure somewhere. Here we go. Angel Rangel. 26 is a 28. So then you just keep going here with let's see what's next after 26. Probably 46. Yep. So Naughton's a 2. 46 is next, and it kind of keeps going. You can look through. There's a pattern. Jordan Ayew is going to have 6 49s on his card because he is a 6 rated foul suffered guy. Same thing with foul committed 4. You're going to start with it might be 63. 63, I think, is the first foul committed rating, and then it goes up from there. But anyway, so then we take 6. Then we have number 3 is the only 3 is Andre Ayew. He'll be number 2. But then we have a bunch of number 2, so I just start from this end. Ki Sung Young is going to be 3, and then Boney 4. Carroll's rated 1, so we skip him. Anybody else rated 2? Yeah, we got Naughton 5, Dyer 6, Vanderhorn is 7, and then you've got 8, 9, 10, 11. So I think the other thing to mention about these ratings for fouls is my guess is just because a guy says that he's rated higher foul committed or foul suffered doesn't necessarily mean he gets fouled or fouls people more often. What it means is, so I think, this is going to happen all game long. This is going to be the death of me, guys. May need to find a better way to anchor this thing. That seems kind of stable. You get, I think your concentration of hitting players' cards is higher in this end than up in this end. So it's also it's based on somewhat how often they play. So if they only played a few games, their ratings may be a little higher because in the games they do play is when they get fouled. So I mean, it is somewhat they are more have higher propensity to foul, but it also could just be that farther down you get more, and it also relates, I think, to your card, like yellow card, red card ratings. Is that like because Nathan Dyer has a 2 foul committed rating, his red cards and yellow cards are kind of low. Same thing for Jordan Ayew, although he does seem to get his share of red cards because he's at a 12 for that. So anyway, now we need to do assists, and it's the same kind of thing. It's just a rating. If I do this up front, because then later on I don't have to spend time doing it. And so with assists, I again go, if they're tied, higher up the offensive ranking gets a higher rating. So Andre Ayew is a 4, he'll be 1. Tom Carroll is a 4, he'll be 2. We don't have any 3s, so we've got a couple of 2 ratings, which will be, so that means Jordan Ayew will be a 3, Key will be a 4, Naughton a 5, and then any 1s, Mawson and Klukas are 1s, so 6, 7, then 0s the rest of the way, 8, 9, 10, 11. That also means that the goalkeeper gets the 11 in just about every situation. Actually, even for foul committed, if there was a 0 foul committed rated guy, I would put the goalie as last. It will pull up every once in a while. So then injuries. Again, so this is from highest to lowest. Wilfred Boney is a 22, so he will be number 1. We have Vanderhorn is next. Key is 3rd, and then we just got to keep going. Whoops, Dyer is 3rd. And this is the other rating where if it's a tie, I go with the more defensive minded because I think they have a few more touches, so they're more likely. Also, I value guys that are offensive in nature, so the more attacking somebody is, I want that guy in the game. I don't want him to get injured. So I tend to, I'm going to put a guy who's a little more of a grinder or whatever you want to call it. Somebody who's not quite as offensive minded. I'm going to give him slightly higher because these are based off of this card here and the player ID, which is it's a skewed rating. The 1 comes up much more often than 11, and then like the closer you get to 1, the more often your number comes up. Then we got to 8. That's number 6. That's IU. And then we have 7, 6. I think 4 is next, which is Naughton. So we got Mawson and Fabianski, who are last. I put 10 and 11. This is a case where I'll put the goalie to be a little higher than the defender. So if a guy has 0, means he played in every game. Just so you know, on the injury rating, that is. All right, so we've got Swansea done. This took a while. I'm trying to be descriptive of this so that if you are interested in playing this game, hopefully you catch some tips and other things from the way that I'm doing this. So then we have Bournemouth. The Bournemouth conspiracy. Let's go to Bournemouth. And I will switch over here. And there is Bournemouth right there. They have had suspensions, and because I have a guy for game 3 listed in here, Gosling with a yellow, I know that I've updated this, and so you make sure. So I think my guys have. This has been fixed. So. Okay, so this is the same kind of thing. I've got my screen up here on the right, so should be able to see that. Taking a drink. Same thing here for Bournemouth. We're going to roll this if it's above 36, which it is 35, so no change is needed for Bournemouth. Again, if a change was needed, I would re-roll. I would turn the card. Actually, I'm going to shuffle these all again. I would turn this and it would see you get player ID 1, which would mean it would be the most injured player. The guy with the highest injury ranking, which is Stanislas. He would be the one that has come out, but we won't have to worry about that. So I'm going to do the same kind of formation deal again. Now, Bournemouth has an interesting tactical dilemma in this game because they want to win, really. But a draw is an acceptable outcome. And so if they get to a point... Oh, crud. This only lasts so long and then it starts falling again. Ooh, did I just get it? I think I may have just figured out a workaround for this. That may stay for a while. The old American ingenuity. Maybe not. We'll see. If it starts falling again, I'll take that back. All right. So a draw probably gets them into the knockout stages in a third place. A win would guarantee it. So they're also in a place where they don't want to get too forward thinking. I'm going to go back over here to this other screen, which is not what we want to see. But let's take a look at this. We've got King and Wilson usually as their. I have them listed as running a 4-3-3, right? Well, I also have them as a 4-5-1 or like a 5-4-1. So we will stick with that. So Smith. So we have Stanislas here. No. Where is he? There. So we're going to go ahead and run with their base formation. All right. So as you can see right there in this area here, we've got 3 forwards. We've got. Now, it's kind of weird here because you have Steve Cook and Lewis Cook on this team, and APBA just so happened to get their cards mixed up. Steve Cook is the defender, whereas Lewis Cook is the midfielder. So I have to leave it the way it is. It's unfortunate. So I have to put Steve Cook. I'm gonna list him in the midfield role, even though he is. This is Lewis Cook's card. I think I've already found that out when looking in Delphi and whatnot. So, and we need the other midfielder, which is going to be Gosling, right there. And then we've got left back Charlie Daniels. We got Steve Cook, which is Lewis Cook on the card, but it's Steve Cook's card. And then we've got Ake on one side. Then we got Simon Francis on the other. And then these other guys are subs that played in a different game, and I just forgot to reorganize them. So we're going to go with we do have one forward that we can bring in, but we also have Ryan Fraser, who's attacking. Mark Pugh has some attack nature to him. eBay will as well. So they've got options in the midfield. They also have Simpson and Mings they could bring in if they need to kind of shore it up at the back end. When time gets a little short. And then we got the other cards. We have guys like Lise Musset, American Emerson Hindeman. We haven't gotten him in yet. Or Heinemann. He is the son of Shellis Heinemann, guy who coached in Major League Soccer for a number of years. And alrighty. Now, again, we just do the same organization. Now, this is going to be an attacking team for Bournemouth. Joshua King first, Callum Wilson, and Felix Stanislas. It seems kind of natural when you got your forwards up front. Sometimes some of these teams you get a defender in the top 5, and it just looks a little weird, but that's the way it goes. Put Lewis Cook here. Actually, no, it has to be Adam Smith. So there you go. There's a defender, Adam Smith. He's a outside back. He's at number 5. We'll go with Lewis Cook. Charlie Daniels. Devil went down to Georgia. Nathan Ake. Lewis Cook, Simon Francis, and Asmir Begovic. Another team that had a goalkeeper that played every game. So, try and get this centered the best I can. Two concurrent viewers. Hopefully you guys are into soccer. All right, so let's put up the sheet here. Junior Stanislaus is probably how he goes by. Gosling, Adam Smith. And then we got Lewis Cook. Devil went down to Georgia. Devil went down to Swansea. Ake. Steve Cook. Simon Francis. And Asmir Begovic. Goalie, defender. Midfield, defender, midfield. So, because there's 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. So we can use their base defensive rating without a problem when we look them up. Now I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to be a little quicker about this time, hopefully. All right, so 1. Okay, there's foul committed, and now foul suffered. All I will do. All right, now assist ratings. Not too many assist ratings for Bournemouth. Joshua King first, then Smith second, Daniels third, Ake fourth. I go to the twos, fifth, sixth. Now to ones, 8. And now injury. Bournemouth had a surprisingly small number of players used in the season. They were relatively injury-free. Oops. When you get quick, that's what happens. Missed Steve Cook's rating there, so that's a 9. 6. Okay, so we've got our team set up here. Okay, just me give you another little. Let's see. Not that weird. Oh, maybe I can't add it. Oh, that's a shame. I wanted to be able to show. Maybe I can here. I don't think so. Yeah, I wanted to be able to show you the score sheet up close. But if you're a Facebook user and you go to the APBA games, subscribe to that. Definitely subscribe to that. If you do that, excuse me. If you do that, you will see today I posted the 2 score sheets I use. So hopefully you will find that helpful and useful. Now I'm going into a different screen here. Let me see. So Swansea's base defense rating at home is 3. We have to adjust that down to 2 because they are under the number of points they need for defensive points. Team rating is 2. Clutch points 4. Bournemouth is on away. 2 team defense, 2 team rating, and 4. So they're basically equally matched up in those particular ratings. So I don't have it set up to be able to show you that on the screen. So I'm going to set up my other sheet here. Now I like to set up both sides first, so bear with me. So this is Swansea City. I'll put the AFC at the end. AFC Bournemouth. So when I put the abbreviations S and B, these little boxes down through here are where you indicate. It's how I track possession. It's not the most perfect way of doing it. Of course, I'm not sure there is a perfect way in APBA soccer to do it, but it does okay. You're basically going to always be between 40 and 60% possession for the teams. It's going to be the game I played yesterday, which was Brighton and Manchester United. I think it was pretty much on the money, 51-49 maybe, Brighton's favor. The game I played the day before, I think it was Tottenham and well, I can look. Tottenham and Newcastle United. I think it was. Yeah. 51-49 in Manchester United, Brighton. Tottenham Newcastle was 60-40 in a 0-0 draw. Neither team was able to win that one. Brighton, I think I mentioned Brighton beat Manchester United 2-1, which put Bournemouth in this position. They have to at least draw and possibly they'd like to win this. So 2-2-4, 2-2-4. Now, mid-game, let's say we get to the second half and Swansea gets in the lead and they want to try and become a little more defensive. If they take one of their forwards off, bring on either a midfielder or a defender in his stead, you would then bump them back up to team defense at 3 because their points would be up to 21 or 22 respectively. Now again, I'm going to do the back side of this 2-2-4. And yes, I know I've spent an hour and a half here doing the setup. because I'm talking you through it. Oh, let's take one last one here. So this is so 35 means it's going to be Swansea City winning the coin flip, and that usually means, at least in the way I've been doing it, that we're going to let Bournemouth have the ball in the first half, to start the first half at least. And I guess I tend to believe that in soccer, what's more important is picking the end. Although I don't know if you really pick an end in soccer. I have never really, you probably don't. I think the home team usually just picks an end where their supporters are most concentrated. Maybe their most ardent supporters are concentrated down there, and they like maybe shooting at that in the second half. Or, yeah, I don't know. There's lots of ways you do it. So, shuffle out my fast action cards, and we're about ready to play. So down in the left-hand corner, this has been sitting there for the whole time, and you're probably like, what's zones? So in APBA soccer, there are 7 zones. A through F and X. X is anything in the defensive half. There are no shots taken from X. Basically, if there's any play started by a team, it's usually going to start from X in one form or another. If it's a goal kick, then it's going to be launched from X. We aren't going to mark it down as X, but it's just assumed that it's from X. If there's a defensive play and the defending team wins the ball, they will start from X every time. Sometimes there will be a defensive block or something, and the ball will get blocked back out into X, and a team will kind of have to restart their move. It doesn't mean that you aren't going to have some things that get immediately moved into another zone. Those are accounted for on the defensive chart. I'm not going to put that up here. I really I think in the APBA group there are some charts posted. I don't know how kosher it is. I guess if John, the guy who runs APBA, if he had a problem with it, he'd probably have it taken down. But I myself don't like to share for broad consumption the charts that I've developed to kind of speed things up for me, because if you try to use the book, it's a little awkward because it's a huge book. So I have tried to condense things into an easy peasy chart. All right, so we're pretty much ready to start. And the last thing we have to decide is tactics. So the way I usually set things up is I put my team sheet over here on the left, so I can reference the ratings when I need to. We have these formation charts that, again, they're kind of grainy, which I like because I don't really necessarily want them to be. I want you go buy the game. If you are interested, if this has piqued your interest, it's an immediate expenditure that you make, and you'll have lasting enjoyment from it. So I've put the link in the comments, or not in the comments, in the description of the video. If you want to go buy the game, you can buy these fast action cards, which really help with the speed. You can buy sets. APBA has a number of different leagues. They have the Domestic American League. They've got English. They've got German. They've got some Champions League teams that usually come with the game, etc., etc., etc. So I'd like to get this game done before noon, but we'll see. All right, so this is where you have to start thinking about text. So these these charts are you have three styles a team can choose, and they're listed on here as, excuse me, sorry, I'm having a little bit of, I'm drinking a soda and it causes me to gas up. They're listed as formations: 4-3-3, 4-4-2, and 4-5-1. That doesn't make a difference how you spell things out for the teams. You know, it's like you could have it be a 4-3-3 lineup here, and you want to use 4-5-1 for whatever reason on the chart. The way to think about it is 4-3-3 attack, 4-4-2 neutral, some attack, some defense, 4-5-1 defensive. You pick one of those based on how you feel like the team. So Swansea City has nothing to lose here. They basically just want to come. So they're going to go 4-4-2. I mean, they could go heavy attacking. They're just going to go even keel. Bournemouth, they could go either way. They're going to stick 4-4-2. They feel like they have an attacking lineup. So with an attacking lineup, they feel like if they use a middle of the road tactic, they should be able to win or at worst tie. So let's just see. All right, Bournemouth will be the first to play. We roll this, and on these fast action cards, there's a number of sections. Let's just go through real quick. This is for zones. When you do a roll off of one of these sections, it gives you a zone. So in this case, we do the kickoff at zone E, and we go to the E zone, and it's, we go on the next card. So E zone for the kickoff, and then player 5. Okay? So kickoff E5 is what I'm going to write on the sheet here. But so the other thing you have is this is the 2 dice roll. This is the sum of the 2 dice roll. If that's something that if you wanted to look off the chart. But a lot of the things that are on the charts are already on the card. You have corner kicks. You have your corner kick results. That's another thing I need to choose here before I get going too far, is who's taking corners and who's taking free kicks. So there's 3 ratings for the corner kick takers. You have what happens on a missed shot. So you'll have shots that'll be taken. We'll see those. If it's on target, then you check the goalkeeper. If it's off target, you find out what the result was. When you have a direct kick, this is each zone where you can have a direct kick. You can't have one from A. That would be a penalty. But any foul inside the A zone gets another roll. If it's outside the box, then it's just you roll off a B and then all the way up to X. And that's where the ball goes from there. Some will say SOG for shot on goal. Some will say S for shot. Some will be B, some will be A, and some will be C and D in this. The loose ball chart. So we are at team rating. They're both 2, so that means the difference is 0. So we go off of this column right here. And this will tell you each time whether it's high or low, or you can just say, if it's 36 or under. But when you get up to 1, 2, or 3 of the difference, you have to be able to remember that. Instead, you can just look here and quickly say, the higher rated team. In this case, neither team is rated higher. And then finally, the player ID. So this is for all of those ratings that I ranked. If you had a foul suffered roll and you wanted to find out who committed it, it would be the player who has the 5th highest rated foul committed on the team that's being charged with the foul. Anyway, and just real quick, kickoffs, how you start the game and restart after a goal. Goal kick is if you have a shot that misses and goes over or wide. The throw-in is if there's an out of bounds. Goal kick or goalkeeper outlet. That's any time that the goalkeeper grabs the ball and restarts the play after a missed shot, usually, or after a saved shot. Sometimes you get the goalkeeper outlet. That's roll 1 on the save chart or on the goalkeeper card. And then indirect kick is after an offside. So pretty useful here. So we get a kickoff to E5. So 5 is Adam Smith, and it's in zone E. So think of zone E. So zone F is just inside the mid stripe. E is from just inside zone F. D is just inside, all the way up to just maybe we'll say 25 yards out. Then you've got C is more like in the corner and around. B is surrounding the area. And then A is basically inside the area, if you will. So take it for what it's worth. I'll just say that. I feel like some of the zone stuff, you just have to keep an open mind. All right, so Smith is going to be 44. 44 is 21. Now, anytime you get a double, it's easy to think, oh, this is going to be a shot. But you have to check the tactic card. Because if you're in a zone like E, and let's say it's 44, that would be number 5. In zone E, 5 actually is a pass to A1. But Smith does not get 44 to equal a shot. Instead, it's 21. So in the range, say 20 to 24 are what you would consider to be good passes. And if you see guys with a lot of those, then on a team, then you can tell they're probably pretty good possession guys. Just for the sake of saying, so 21 in E is going to be a pass to D8. So it'll be Ake in zone D. Bournemouth will keep possession. 53. That'll be 35 for Aki, which is going to be a defensive check. Now, this is where we go off of the defensive chart. I'm not going to show it to you. Each team has a rating. So both these teams have 2. You go 66. So for team defensive rating 2, that's a block to X. Actually, for everybody it is. So we'll put block to X. In this case, neither team is higher rated. We're going to call this high and this low. If we look at this, it says H, so it's going to be lost to Swansea. And anytime you lose possession on a defensive check, it restarts in X, X10. So it'll be Vanderhorn for Swansea. And I'll write down S on my chart here. And we'll keep moving. Vanderhorn is 14, 29 in X is another defensive check. 41, it's going to be header to E, retained. So that's another H. So that's retained, and they get to retain it in zone E. So the header in zone E is won by Swansea by player 6. It's CM Klukas. 53 is 41. Zone E is going to be a header to F. So when I get a header to F off of the formation chart, I automatically list this this phi. I use phi for defensive. I'll try to give you a little bit of an insight on my shorthand. In this case, it's probably tough to see. I use a phi for defense. KO is kickoff. BX is block into X. HE is header to E, header to F. We check again. Still an H, so they retain it, but it's going to come out a little bit to F. It'll be F9, so it'll be Nathan Dyer out near midfield. 43 is 48, so we already know that is a foul. So I put committed. That's foul committed by Dyer. Suffered. So we get our first case of this. Is player 6 for Bournemouth. So if you go to foul suffered and you look down here, 6 is going to be Lewis Cook. And then we check 24 for Dyer. He would need to be 14, or that would have to be 14 or lower to be a card, so no yellow card for him. But now Bournemouth will restart in the 4th minute. Nothing. Free kick in zone X. So it happened in zone F for Swansea. If you think of a football field, let's draw it here. So let's say zone F is right here. So the free kick is going to be from here, which if Bournemouth is attacking in this direction, zone F for Swansea is zone X for Bournemouth. So free kick from X, we look here, it says D. So it's going to be collected in D by their team, D2. So Callum Wilson will get it in D. So he could potentially wheel off and take a shot here. Let's see. 66 is 1 in D, and 1 in D is going to be a shot. So he's going to dribble, see an opening, see a lane to shoot through. So this is what happens. So you get a shot. Now you have to determine if it's a shot on goal. Take the player card. They have a rating called shot on goal. It's going to be tough to see here. It's 31 for Wilson. So that's the base number for a guy. You would then flip a card, look at this rating here. This was 66 on this card, which led to the 1, which led to the shot. We'll flip another one. If it is 31 or below, the shot was on target. If it's 32 or above, the shot missed target, and we got to look at the missed shot. Now, the other thing is there are modifiers, and I did not pick my free kicks. So the free kicks for, let's see, what I usually do is I usually try to find the best corner kick guy. It's going to be Josh King, so we're going to have him taking both of them. I will change the free kick taker if I feel like the guy taking the corner kicks does not have a good shot rating. I would probably want to choose a better guy in case you do have a shot taken on a free kick. So for Swansea, we will go with Tom Carroll for corner kicks. And we'll use Andre Ayew for free kicks. But here now we've decided that corner kicks and free kicks will be taken by Joshua King. He's got an assist rating of 3. So the first thing that you have an adjustment for is zone. We're in zone D for Wilson's shot. Zone D you can see it down there. Whoa, down here in this little chart. Zone D is 0, so we get no. So he's still 31 after that. Now, because it's free kick, I do add an assist rating in that for the guy taking the free kick. King is a 3. If you are 3 to 5 assist rating, you get a +1 jump. So Wilson will get a 32 out of it. So is it 32 or below? It's 14, so it's a shot on goal. We then check Lucas Fabianski's goalkeeper card. We roll it again, and then we check 33 is going to be 5, which for the goalkeeper chart, a 5 means a rebound. So he saves it, but the rebound plops down into B. Bournemouth has a chance to win it back, and it says H, so they will not do that. That will be lost to Swansea, and they will pick it up in X9. So Dyer in 9 will get it. So a shot on goal by Wilson is saved by Lucas Fabianski, and Swansea will start the other way in the 5th minute. No score. So 62-43 in zone X is going to be out of bounds. I use a circled X as my out of bounds designation, and then for a throw-in, I put a theta. I could just use T, I guess, but I don't know. I like Greek letters to represent the sort of the actions, so as to speak. Probably for shots, I should use sigma, eh? Anyway, throw-in is going to be X to X, and then X7. So that will be Charlie Daniels for Bournemouth. 61 is 29 in X. So back to defense. 12. So with a 2, a 12. So the lower you go, the more of a chance you get a straight steal and a counter attack into another area. So it's going to be a steal straight to B for Swansea. And so they're going to have a chance maybe to put an attack together. It'll be B3. So it's going to be Ki Sung Young in zone B So an attack is brewing here. It's going to be 51, which is 22 in B. Is going to be a pass to Andre Ayew, same zone. 62, 30 is going to be a pass to D, but it'll be to Jordan Ayew, his namesake. Now let's see if Jordan Ayew. Now here's 44 in D. 44 is 5. Now for this tactic in D, you do get a shot out of this. So this is going to be Jordan Ayew is going to have a shot. Going to have a go from distance. 26, no adjustment. The pass was from Andre, who was a 4, so he will get a +1. So 31. So 26, because we don't have 27 rolls. You go from 26, jump up to 31. It's 55. That is a shot off target. And we flip another card to see goalkeeper outlet. I use crap. Psi? I don't remember what that. I forget the Greek letter I use there. Little so Bournemouth is going to get a goalkeeper outlet. Looks like a little upside down, kind of like a loop in a piece of rope. Maybe that's psi. It might be. Anyway, lowercase. Goalkeeper outlet F8. So Ake and F, 51, 31, and F is going to be defensive check. So a lot of so, and this is one of the things some people don't like, and maybe that's why they don't like soccer to an extent, is because you end up with some of this. So Bournemouth will lose possession, so it'll be Swansea's X5, be Tom Carroll. But soccer in itself is a lot of sort of posturing and jockeying and possession and losing possession and trying to gain ground and losing ground. And to me, that's a lot of fun. I have an email here I need to check, so give me a second. Just saw an email come across, and it's okay. I thought maybe it would be something a little more pressing than that, but that's okay. Again, we're in a situation here where life is. I'm just, I'm eating up a lot of bandwidth here, but I'm not really caring about it today. So Swansea, it'll be Carroll and X, 36 in X, 23. So 20, like I said, 20 to 25 are good passes. And so this is, although it's not necessarily the most productive pass, it is a little bit. It goes X from X5. Wait, what was this? 36, 23, X8. So he cycles possession to Naughton in X. And so we get an 11, which is always a 2, as long as the guy's offensive rating isn't like 0. So, and so for Naughton, it is a 2. And so in X2 is a pass. This is a great pass into B with Andre Ayew. So it's sort of an incisive pass looking to try and generate some offense. Now 64 is 26 in B, which is going to be pass to Ki Sung-young in 3, or in zone C. 13 is 25 in C, another good pass, D2. Andre Ayew and D. 31. 45 is going to be out of bounds. So finally they hit the guy who was not able to keep possession going. So we're in the 12th minute. No score. Bournemouth's ball. We do a throw-in roll. F3. So that'll be Stanislas in F. 53. And 42 in F is going to be a header to X. So right at the fringe of keeping possession, they will. You can see here this is an L. They regain possession in their own half. It's going to be Adam Smith out on the right. 46. And Swansea player comes in hard and takes him down. That's a foul suffered by Smith. Let's see. It's going to be player 2 who fouled. That's going to be Vanderhorn. And 31 does not instigate a card. So referee gives him a little talking to. Free kick in zone X for Bournemouth. That's going to lead to they're going to collect it in B, and it's going to be Simon Francis who came up to try and head that ball in. Let's see if he gets any kind of shot off here. 43 now. He's not going to. He's actually put his elbow up a little bit, and it's been judged a foul committed by Francis on Vanderhorn. And almost hits the yellow card, but won't. But that's just going to be a free kick in X for the Swans. So I'm going to get another soda here. Taking our time. What do we have here? Any viewers? No viewers at the moment. Well, that's okay. Let me see something. Something seems kind of weird. I don't know. It's weird because it doesn't show up in my... Maybe I need to update my app. I don't know. No, I don't know. I'm going to keep going, regardless. Free kick to X. C6. No, C2. My bad. So Swans, it'll be Andre Ayew and C. They've had the better of things here so far. 36. Defensive check. 21 is going to be a steal to E. E8. So Ake and E14, 28, and E is going to be a pass to F. Actually, he'll pass it around and he will have it back, this time in F. 44 is 25, and F is X9, so pass to Steve Cook. X16 is 29. That's going to be, though, a defensive check. So they got some possession, but not much. Didn't get to penetrate too far. Headed to E. Retained. And Charlie Daniels has it. 42 is going to be a header to X. And retain X9. So 17th minute, no score. All right, let me check YouTube now. Maybe it will show up now. Huh. This is so weird. Okay, there it is. This is so weird. Yeah, for a minute, probably should have shown a viewer, but yeah, it's live. Okay, I don't know why it's kind of changed the way that things show up in my personal feed there. Anyway, so we're X9. Bournemouth is Steve Cook. And X51 and X41 is another header to X. A lot being done out near midfield. They're going to retain it again. X10. Francis. 33. 3 and X is he's going to pass it up to Stanislaus and B. So let's see if that can generate anything. 22 and B is passed to Wilson in B. 32 is 27 and B is C4. Gosling might be the first time we've hit him. 25, 27 and C is going to be D4. He'll keep it. Wheel around. 31, 27 in D is E6. So Lewis Cook now has it a little deeper, and he is going to wheel off and take a shot from deep. It'll be is that his second? No, I guess not. I thought he took one earlier in the game, but it won't be. So 24. So for zone E, as you can see down there, it is down there -3. So he's a 24. You could also no. Gosling does not have a good assist rating, so 24. So down to 21, and it's 23. So that is a shot off target, and it will be the goalkeeper outlet. So Swansea will E6. And the Swans take over, and it'll be Klukas in E. 37 and E is defensive check. 15 is going to be a steal to D. So Bournemouth going the other way. D3, Stanislaus. 45, 37 is going to be a defensive check, so they can't get anything done with that. Swansea is strong enough to at least hamper things. There's going to be a block to back outside the midfield stripe, and they lose it, so they will cycle it back into X7, and Swansea will take over. Mawson, 26. That's a foul. So he has suffered a foul. Committed by Bournemouth, player 2, which is Dan Gosling. And no card. Free kick in X, B1. So Jordan Ayew in B42 is 43. Header to B. Can they retain? They do. And it's going to be Naughton who has moved up some here. He's providing support in B. 65 is 22 in B. It's going to be Andre Ayew who gets it. 41, 39 in B is defensive check. 24th minute. No score. Bournemouth blocks it into E. Be retained by Swansea. Andre Ayew in E, 65. That's a foul. Suffered. Committed by player 3, which is going to be Callum Wilson. Now we're going to shuffle them up. I find it takes 4 times through the deck to get a game in. So, no viewers at the moment. Didn't really advertise this at all, so it doesn't exactly help anything. Of course, if halfies are struggling with this virus or whatever, then that could explain it too. Hopefully not. Hopefully everybody's in decent health for this time of year. But not everybody is, because I know that I think the number was like 20,000 here in the U.S. So thus far. And that's only the people who've been diagnosed and tested and whatnot. So I feel like there's probably a lot more who have contracted this and just are not really saying much about it. So Swansea gets a free kick from E this time. That'll be a shot. I think this is the first time off a free kick I've had a shot from E. There's that sound again. I don't know what that sound is, but I'm not a big fan of it. Okay, so a shot for me. So we were saying Andre Ayew is the free kick taker. He's going to take one from deep. 35 minus 3 is 32. 62 means it's going to be off target, as you might expect. Oh, you need to write down who took it. Off target, corner kick. Means it glanced off somebody on the Bournemouth side. So now it will be Tom Carroll, who is a corner kick A. It says shot by kicker, which is a shot on goal by kicker, which is going to test Begovic. you look in the rules, it says it's a shot on goal. You have to check the card of the, and it is a goal. It goes in. The wind blowing. Swansea's going to take a 1-0 lead. When Bournemouth needs a victory or a tie, Swansea gets the goal. Carroll on a wicked free kick, an in-swinger that the goalie misplays, and that's a 1-0 lead for the Swans. 26th minute. I'd still like to know what's making that noise. I can't tell if it's in my basement here or if it's next door. I'm in a townhome community. Anyway, so Bournemouth now has some work to do. Kickoff. D8. Swansea's had the better of them here so far. 8. So 24 in D is 36. It's going to be defensive check. 33. It's a header to D. Retained by Bournemouth. D7. Daniels 11. It's a 2 in D. He's going to take a shot. And it's my pen. Oh, no. See there, my pen is on life support. Fortunately, it's one thing I have a few of. Although I was using that one for, and I thought that I had a whole box of the ones that are a little more. Oh, here's this. Is this? Let's use this one up first. I was going to get out a new one. I did have a box of the plain 206s or 207s instead of the micros, but I'm going to use the micros while I have them, especially since our friends at Amazon probably are not going to deliver pens which aren't life essential things. All right, so Daniels 25 from D, which is not, it's going to be neutral, so 25, and no assist change. So that's off target, goalkeeper outlet. Swansea will get the ball back. Outlets to E4. Wilfred Boney in E33, and E is going to be a shot from deep for Boney. 31, 24, off target, corner kick. Pass to B from Carroll. It's going to get, and let's see who in B gets it. B5. Carroll is going to come back around to him. He's not going to assist himself, so that'll be a shot to Carroll. He is a 16, so not very good. It is in B, so we get to add 3. So 21, 22, 23. Off target. Another corner kick. Pass to B. No shot this time, unless it's generated. B2. Andre Ayew, the goal. No, actually, was it Carroll? Yeah, it was Carroll. 13 is 36, and B is going to be a defensive check. Blocked D and lost. So X 6. Bournemouth, that'll be Lewis Cook and X, 36. 40. Out of bounds. Bournemouth having trouble getting the ball. Swansea has had it for like 8 of the last 10 minutes. So they're going to throw it in here. E6. Lucas and E22 is going to be 46, out of bounds. Bournemouth throws it in. E9. Steve Cook in E32, 23 and E is E5. Adam Smith in E35, 25 and E is E7. Charlie Daniels, 45, 42 and E is a header to X. Retain by Ake. And there's going to be another header challenge. Gets up in the air, and they are going to retain in D4. So Gosling, they're getting a little closer to goal. 33, he's going to take a whack at it here. From about 30 yards out. 32. No assist. It's on target. Can Fabianski save it again? 23 is a goal. Bournemouth, the visiting side, gets the equalizer as Dan Gosling takes a shot from distance, and it tinkles the twine. And we will look to player 7 for the assist. It will be Steve Cook. 1-1. And the Cherries' faithful traveling support go insane, berserk, as their team draws back. And if it can remain this way, they would overcome Brighton, who is a point ahead of them. If they can get a draw out of this, that will be good for them. Kickoff goes to B8 for the Swans. 37th minute, 1-1. So Naughton and B, that's going to be a foul, so that they will get a good opportunity for another goal here, maybe. Maybe they'll take a shot at it. Naughton suffered. Committed by a guy who doesn't commit him very often. That's going to be Charlie Daniels. And no card. But Swans are going to get a free kick in B. And this is going to be Ayew taking it. Andre Ayew. And it's going to be a shot. So take 35 and make it 42. And it's still going to be off target. And it's going to be a corner kick. He hits the wall and goes over. And so they will get a corner kick out of this. Carroll taking another one. It's going to be a pass to B with a shot associated with it. It's going to be a pass to Mawson and B. So it could be a headshot. Mawson 25, add 3 is 32. Also came off the corner kick for Carroll, so that's 33 because he's an assist of 4. But it's going to be off target. And it's going to be knocked down with a block, and it's going to end up into the goalkeeper's hands for an outlet. Going to throw it up there to zone F, and it will be Stanislas. And guess what? F7. Let me make sure. 15. Yeah, F7 is going to be a pass to D1. So King will get it in D. 24 and D is D7. Trying to hang on to possession here a little bit. Daniels 56 becomes 45, which is out of bounds. So I was mulling whether or not to bump up Bournemouth to the attack tactic setting, but we're going to keep it here now because they've got it equal, got it level. Throw in D2 for Swans. It'll be Andre Ayew in D. 14:35 in D is going to be a defensive check. 41st minute. Steal to F. 8. So Ake in F, 12-43, and F is out of bounds. Throw in for the Welsh side. X, 8. Naughton and X, 54. Okay, well, special result. 54 is always a special result. So 26. Handball on defender. Use foul committed column to identify defender. Direct kick from current area. All right, so player 3, Stanislas. So it's going to be a foul committed. And we'll say suffered will be Naughton. He's the one that tried to pass it, and it went off Stanislas' hand, and it is not a card. It was in zone X, so no need for any kind of penalty kick or anything like that, or penalty check. So 43rd minute, 1-1 from Liberty Stadium in Swansea. They will take the free kick, and that will be collected in zone C by Wilfred Boney. 22 in C. That's a good result. He will keep it. 24 in C. Another good pass. That'll be D1. Jordan Ayew in D, but that's going to be a foul committed. As he lost control, and then he popped in there on, let's see, Steve Cook. Got his cleats up a little bit, but the referee thinks better of a yellow. Bournemouth free kick in X. We're going to add 2 minutes of stoppage time for the 2 goals. Pass to B, 4 from the free kick. So that'll be Gosling, the goal scorer in B, and that's going to be 46. That's out of bounds. Swans will get a throw in. It goes up to B6. So that'll be Klukas. Can they get a late shot here? 22. That's a double. So double rolls are usually going to be thing in zones A, B, or C are going to be shots. But in this case, he doesn't have a high enough rating to get it. So instead, I just zoned out. Okay, 46 is going to be out of bounds. So Bournemouth will throw in D7, and the referee will blow the whistle on the first half. So there we are. I'm gonna put up the title screen for a bit, not too long. I'm gonna tally up my stats, and we'll be back with more here in just a moment. Or not. I have a setting screen that won't go away. So I guess I'm going to stick with this for a while. I may end up having to end the stream from my browser. So I'll just go through and tally these up with you guys here. I was going to stretch my legs for a second. Oh, we could put it up here, 1-1. Tell you what, when you have a 0-0, a 1-1 looks a lot better. Because the Tottenham game, Tottenham-Newcastle, was 0-0. So I'm going to stand up while I do this. So what I do here, not going to zoom in, but hopefully you can see, I just go down through the sheet here and I can tally. So right here we got a foul committed by Nathan Dyer, suffered by Lewis Cook. So we come over here and check it off on the foul suffered side. And then we've got a shot on goal from Callum Wilson, which was saved. Jordan Ayew misses a shot. Here's another foul. It's going to be Vanderhoorn committed. Adam Smith suffered. Francis committed one, suffered by Vanderhoorn. All right, so there's Lewis Cook with a shot missed, off target. Committed Gosling. It's over here. Suffered by Mawson. Committed by Callum Wilson. Suffered by Andre Ayew. Andre Ayew with a shot off target. Carroll with a shot on target and a goal. That was off of the corner kick, kind of a fluke goal. I forgot to write down. I'll write it down in the scoring sheet later. Daniels off target. Wilfred Boney off target. Carroll off target. Gosling on target and a goal with an assist to Steve Cook. And that was in the 35th minute. Okay, so then a foul committed by Daniels. Suffered by Naughton. Ayew with another shot that's off target. Andre Ayew, that is. Mawson shot off target. And then we get a foul by Stanislas committed. Naughton suffers it. And then Jordan Ayew commits one on Steve Cook. And that's that. So up here in the upper section, I put the score for each half, 1-1. And pardon me as I do the requisite anthem for this period of time in our world's history. Although I guess with the coronavirus there isn't as much mucus as there could be. Okay, so we've got, now I tally things up here. We got shots and shots on target. Only one shot on target for Swansea, and that was good enough to get the goal. So 7 altogether. And then Bournemouth with 4 shots, 2 of them on target, and 1 of them finding Pater. And real quick, I'm going to do my possession stats since I'm not worrying about time. I'm just going to go for it. So we're going to use Bournemouth being the away team. 1, 2, 3, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. Shoot. I hate it when you do that one. 20, 23, 24, 27, 20, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 46. So we had 94. So 48 for Swansea, 46 possession, well, half minutes possessed by Bournemouth. So roughly 50-50. It might be 51-49 in favor of the Swans home team. All right. Nobody's using any clutch points, and at this point I do reshuffle. I like to feel like that does bring about some level of randomness, to have left some cards behind, and now we get to reshuffle and we get back to the top of the deck or whatever. So I really should buy 3 more decks, and then I'd have 6, and then pretty much get through each half with the deck, and then I probably would have some left over, which would allow me to, I feel like that helps with your randomness factor. If you have a chance where you're going to have maybe 10 to 15 of the fast action cards not used, if you had infinite decks, that would be best. Or if you so chose, you could just use a random number generator on your computer. And if you bought the game and you have the charts, you could in an afternoon devise yourself something just like those fast action cards to, well, it wasn't quite as good. I found that the quicker you do it, the more it shuffles them up. If you really flip them through there, then the friction on the cards is less. This is probably elementary stuff. The more you try to do it slowly and get every card, instead you get cards that kind of like pop together because you're just two more top side, and we will be ready for the second half. 1-1 from the Liberty Stadium in Swansea, Wales. Let's do a little fold shuffle here just for the heck of it, and it's going to be Swansea kicking off for the second half. And I'm going to sit back down here, and it's almost 11:30. The only thing that takes a little extra time in the second half is that's where all your subs happen. And so when you come up with the rating, when you rank them by ratings, then you have to kind of re-rank, and it takes a little time, but let's go. Let's try and get this thing done. Kickoff, F. 8. Naughton and F. 22. 35 is going to be a defensive check. Steal to X for Bournemouth. So can Bournemouth hang into this thing? They're going to lose possession, so it'll go to X for Bournemouth. X. Or wait, steal to X. What am I doing? X10. So Francis and X, 43. That's a foul. Foul committed by Francis. Suffered by Dyer. No card. The Swans will get a free kick to B6. Klukas and B, 22. That's going to be out of bounds. Bournemouth throw-in. E10. Francis again, 23. 22 in E. That's a good pass to Gosling in E. Special result, 52. Might be injury. Nope, ball stolen by opposition. To pass to C. Foul occurs. Referee signals advantage. Shot taken. So we call it a defensive steal to C. And we check to who? It's going to be C4. So that will be Wilfred Boney. So Swans. It's going to be a shot for Boney and C. They're going to add 1 to his rating. That's 32. Off target. Over the net. Bournemouth will get a goal kick. Begovic will do the honor. E2. Callum Wilson, E26. He's going to get fouled. Committed by the most. That's going to be Jordan Ayew. 51. So Bournemouth free kick in E. Pass to B. 4. So Gosling. Goal scorer, 65. 22 in B is B2. Wilson in B, 12. 39 in B. That's going to be defense. So Wilson does not do well with that one. 45 is a header to F. Retained by Bournemouth. So they're going to enjoy a little bit of possession here. It's going to be Wilson getting it back. This time deeper, though. That's a 3 in F. It's going to be a pass to B1. So up to Josh King. 42, though, in B. That's a header to A. They could get it in the box here. Can they drag it in? No, they cannot. It's going to get lost. So it gets restarted. X10. Swans get it. Vanderhorn, 24. 23 in X. X8. Naughton, 34. 44 in X is going to be out of bounds. 55th minute. Bournemouth going to throw it in. D3. Stanislas in D. 42. 25 in D is pass to E. Gosling. Deeper, 34. That's going to be a defensive encounter. Header to X. Lost to the Swans. Ki Sung Young. 36 in X. That's 23. That's going to be passed to Naughton. Also in X. 33 in X is a defensive challenge. Block to E. Retained. E9. Dyer in E, 63. That's going to be a foul committed by Dyer, and they will lose possession that way. Suffered by number 6 on the list. That's going to be Lewis Cook. And 25 for Dyer is not a yellow card. So Bournemouth free kick. X. I think time to think about subs here at some point. So that's a pass to B. That's free kick from King. B5 to Adam Smith. 65. That's a foul suffered. Committed. Player 2 is going to be Andre Ayew. 31, no card. But that's going to give Bournemouth a glorious opportunity for a free kick. It'll be Josh King there just outside the area. And that's going to be a shot on goal. SOG. King. Automatic shot on goal. Fabianski needs to save it. Can he get there? 35. Yes, he does. And he will actually, he will grab it, knock it down, grab it himself, and it's going to go the other way on the goalkeeper outlet. So a great save there from Fabianski to keep this 1-1. King with a great shot there, but better to the task was Fabianski. So the goalkeeper outlet all the way up to B3. So some good rolls here at the moment. So it's going to be Ki Young Sung and B. That's going to be out of bounds, though, at that point. So I'm going to keep going here. I'm not going to worry. I was thinking about a substitute, but let's. So throw in D8. I think substitutes in this game are just going to be more about like for like, and they want to try and keep this game 1-1. Maybe both teams feel that way. They don't need to get anybody hurt, get anybody thrown out of the game. So D8 is Ake. 28. D is E7. Daniels and E. 53. That's going to be defense check. Blocked X. It's tough when you see the that's lost. It's tough when you see the doubles in these inconsequential rolls. X3. So Swans, Key, and X. 35, 25, and X. That's an X10. Vanderhorn. 61, 21, and X. So that's another good pass. F9. Dyer in F. 51, 42, and F is a header to X. Lost. So Bournemouth gets it in X with 6. That'll be Cook. Lewis Cook. 42, 34. It's going to be a defensive check. Getting a little bit chippy here. Getting a little feisty, trying to do a little back and forth. They're going to retain it in X. 64th minute. 1-1. Bournemouth. Francis X. 12, 22, and X is not going to be too bad. Francis will retain it. He's going to move up a little bit in F. 41, F. 30. That's going to be defense. 53. Block to D. But they will lose it to the Swans. And so the Swans pick it up. Start it in X with Mawson. 42 is going to be out of bounds in X. All right, we're going to figure out a substitute here. So let's see. We will go with Bournemouth first. The only mildly attacking thing they're going to do is they're going to bring in Ryan Fraser. At least at this point. First, Lewis Cook. And one moment here as I try and sleuth out where he's going to be 9, so he's going to be pretty high up. So in front of Stanislaus for committed. Suffered, he's going to be right after King. Assist also after. And injury. Hit a Gosling, so we'll say 2A. Actually, say 1A. All right, so and this is the 65th minute. Lewis Cook brought out. They'd love to get the go-ahead goal here. Not quite a like for like. Ryan Fraser is an attacking midfielder, so we're not going to do anything with the Swans at the moment. So this is a throw-in for Bournemouth, X9. So Steve Cook in X33. That's a 3 in X is going to be a good pass. B3. Ryan Fraser just in the game, 41. 27 in B is C4. Stanislaus in C44. That's going to be out of bounds. You know what? The Swans are now going to be ready for a change. Bring in Andrew King to muddle things up a little bit. There's a King on the other side. And they will bring him in for Tom Carroll, goal scorer. Like for like. And okay. So he's going to be just ahead of Mawson. 6A, foul suffer, 9A. Okay. So, like I said, it does take a little bit of extra time when you're dealing with subs. So when you put the sub in, you remove one card and then you put the new guy in where he belongs in the order and move everybody around requisitely. Okay, we'll put Andrew King right there at number 8. Okay. So we will continue now. Throw in for Swansea. E8. King right in the game. 3 in E is going to be a shot. So good thing he warmed up because he is getting asked right away. Now 31, 26, 25, 24. It's going to be shot off target. Can they get a corner out of it? Nope. Goalkeeper outlet. So Begovic is able to collect that and outlet it to Adam Smith. And he's fouled in E. Committed by Jordan Ayew again. And this time there will be a yellow card issued to Mr. Ayew. 70th minute. Free kick in E. Pass to B. 1. Josh King in B. 23 is going to foul. Let's see. It'll be Andre Ayew that he fouls. No card for him, though. Free kick in X. C1. Jordan Ayew. 6. He's fouled. Little mean-spirited here at the moment. We're getting some heavy fouls. 1, 2, 3, 6. So Adam Smith does the dirty deed, fouls him. And the last reshuffle here for 11:39. We're on pace to finish this before noon. That'd be cool. Got the rest of the day ahead of us then. So it's going to take me 3 hours for this video because I did a lot of narration and stuff. You could give the game in 2 hours pretty routinely. Kind of just depends on your mechanisms for determining lineups and all that jazz. It's not too bad. I mean, a regular. It's basically the same. That would be the same amount of time as a regular soccer match. You know, it's hour 45, 2 hours. Again, if you're not describing the results and things like that, then that helps. So still 1-1. We're in the 72nd minute. And let's see if Swansea can break the hearts of the Bournemouth support, or if Bournemouth either holds on to this or maybe can get another goal and really send themselves into the next round happy as cherries on a nice piece of, I don't know, pumpkin pie. I don't know. I guess cherries don't go on a pumpkin pie. Never mind. Adam Smith is no card. Free kick in C. Right? C1. There's Ayew. So it's going to be Andre Ayew taking the free kick. It will be a shot. Add 1. 36. Off target. Corner kick. So Carroll is out of the game. They're going to give the honors to Jordan Ayew. He's a B. So that's going to be past B. 3. That's key. 23. 31 in B is D2. Andre Ayew in D. That's going to be a defensive check. So Bournemouth steps up to the challenge. That's going to be a steal straight to D. 7. Bournemouth. Daniels in D. 51. 30 in D is a defensive check for the Swans. Another steal to D. D1. Jordan Ayew, 21 in D is 37. That's going to be another defensive check. These guys are getting some unlucky rolls at the point of needing something good. So that's going to be a steal to X6 for Bournemouth, 75th minute. Smith in X. It's going to be 41 in X is going to be a header to X. retained by Bournemouth, X8, Ake, and X51. 31 and X is going to be another defensive check. We've had a bunch of defensive checks in a row here. Blocked E, lost this time. Swans get it in X, X3. Key in X, 64. 32 in X is defensive check. Blocked to X, lost. X5. You're going to get a stoppage here, and I think both teams are looking to make a sub. Got some guys warming up on the sidelines, so it's going to be Gosling in X, 34. 32 in X is another defensive check. We've had 7 in a row here now. Headed to F. Retained by Bournemouth. F8, Ake, and F. 34 is another defensive check. 12, steal to B. And that'll be Klukas in B for the Swans. 41, 42 in B is defensive check again. Steal to F. A lot of last-ditch defending here in these late stages, trying to prevent the other team from getting anywhere. F10 for Bournemouth. Francis, 33 is 3, and F is going to be a pass to B1, so a pass to Josh King in B. 43 and B is a header to B. Can they retain it? They need above 36, and they get it. Just barely. B3. Ryan Fraser. 15 is 24. C1. King and C. Fouled. Josh King fouled in B. It'll be player 6. So it'll be Mawson committing it. Actually, no, it'll be Andrew King committing it. King on king violence. That's a royal problem here. So, all right, we're going to get 2 substitutions here, and so that's going to bring it up to 3 minutes of stoppage time. Okay. I'm going to bring Mings in. Bournemouth will. Defender. He's going to come in for Junior Stanislas. You're going to try to salt this thing away. '80th minute. So he is a 0 defender. Okay. Foul committed. Daniels 9. Make him an 8A. Make him. Okay. So again, we make the make the adjustments to our table there. Now we need to take Swans, and I think the Swans are going to also make more of a, not necessarily defensive, but let's see. Well, they'll bring in Renato Sanchez for IU, for Jordan IU, since he has a card. This will also gain them a team defense point, because they'll go from 2 to 3. This is 81st minute. Okay, foul suffered 4. He's going to be, we're just going to put him at 1 for foul suffered, and then 2. Put him 3A. No assist. Okay. And we're going to take IU off the top. Someone might argue we should try and get them 3 points and get them off on a good note. But it's okay. Okay, so it was fouled by Andrew King. So Bournemouth will get a free kick in C. And it will be Josh King taking it. Pass to B. 5. Smith and B. 35. There's going to be a defensive check. Next break, we're going to switch both teams to 4-5-1. 32 for defense. It's steal to X. 9. Unless somebody scores. Dyer and X. 66 and 1 is X. B1. So here's Andre IU and B. 25. 31 and B is D2. Key and D. 11. That's going to be a shot. 25. But it's from IU. You get to add a point. So 26. That is a shot on goal. Neither team has clutch points to be able to make a near automatic save. So can Begovic get this? 55. And he does make the save, but the rebound is out to C. And it is won back by Bournemouth. So lost for Swansea, and it'll be X5. So Bournemouth fans holding their breath there. I don't know. Maybe instead of trying for the point, they need to really go after the 3. I don't know. So it'll be Smith and X. 13:46. That's out of bounds. All right. They are going to go for it. They are not going to tread lightly. It's going to be 4-3-3 against 4-4-2, and Swans are just going to stay with the base. So this could get hairy. Throwing for Swans. X5. Mawson and X. 33. 3 and X is B3. Boney and B. 28 and B. C3. So Boney again, this time in C. 45. 34. It's going to be a defensive check. So there aren't too many rules about clutch points. I tend to say that you have to at least get 1 successful pass before you can use a clutch point to take possession away. So this is a block to X, right? Yeah, 45 for Boney was 34, which was a defensive block to X. Lost. 7. Bournemouth is going to use a clutch point here. And so that they will be able to take it to D, and they're make it D1. So if they give up, if they're able to complete a pass here, then I could say Swansea could then use theirs to counterattack. So that's one of the things you can steal to a choice player in a positive zone, or if you're on offense, you can just automatically pass one and use the clutch points. So 54 for King. So this is going to be let's see, 65. Pass to B, player's choice. We'll go B1 again. King and B. 41, 36 in B is going to be a defensive check. Header to D. Lost. So it'll be X. 6. Swansea's going to use 2 of their clutch points. So actually what you could say, you know what, we're not. We're going to hold on to them. They may want to hang on to clutch points because you can downgrade a red card with clutch points, and they may want that so that they either a red card or a yellow card. Although they don't have anybody in this game currently that is in danger of a second yellow to cause them to be suspended. So it'll be Naughton in X. 88th minute, 1-1 still. 61, 34. Defensive check, 65. That's a blocked X. Retained. And Bournemouth would be Gosling and X, 25. Defensive check for Swansea, 61. Blocked E. Lost. I messed up. Let's go backwards. I messed up. This is retained. 25 should be for Klukas. 25 is 29 in X, which is still a defensive check. 61 was a block to E, right? Retained. E9. And so now that Swansea's had possession, Bournemouth can use, they're going to use 2 of their clutch points. Actually, we're going to say Swansea has control, but it's going to be defensive steal to C1. So Bournemouth, it'll be King with C. 44. That is exactly, that's a real fortunate roll for them. It says they're going to have a shot for Josh King in C. So he is rated 33. That's up to 34 because he gets a 1 boost. But it's off target. Can he get a corner kick? Nope. Goalkeeper outlet. 90th minute, 1-1. D2. 22. Good roll for shots. So, well, that's not going to work here. Key 42 and D is 41. Header to B. Can they retain it? They do. 11. That's a real good one. Not in this case. B5. Mawson and B. Can he get a shot here? Can they break their hearts? 13, no. 43 is going to be, that's a header to A. And they retain it again. We have 3 minutes of stoppage time. We have one more sub for each team. I don't know if we're going to have a stoppage to get it in. They retain A1. It'll be Andre Ayew. What's the next roll? 12. 26 in A is B2. And Bournemouth is going to use their last clutch point. So they're down to 0. So that's going to be a steal to D. And we'll say king. So Bournemouth and D. 46 is going to be a foul. Suffered by Josh King. Committed by player 5. Oh my goodness. Give me a second. It takes 1, 2, 3, 4. Andre Ayew. 36. See, and if that had come up as a 12, or if that had come up as an 11, then having the 4 clutch points would have been a real nice thing to have, because it could have brought it back to a yellow. Okay, so we're in. This is basically going to be the last. Now, they aren't going to worry about any substitutes right now. They're just going to finish this game out. And I just picked off a scab, which kind of hurts a little bit on my arm. All right, so a free kick in D. It's going to be King taking this. Josh King. And what does it say? Pass to B. We will give him one more B1, so it'll be one more roll for King. If this isn't, and look at that, 11. If the order of these had been a little different, you never know. Can you get another shot here? 26 is a foul. The referee is looking at his watch, and he's going to let one more go. Player 5. Again, that's Andre Ayew. Okay, so here we go. This is it. This is a free kick from B. Pass to B. 4. And let's see. Does it do it? No, that's it. That is the whistle. Game over. Swansea 1, Bournemouth 1. Bournemouth gets their point. We gave it a lot of we gave it a lot of opportunities to finish out here, other than 1-1, but it's staying 1-1, and that's what we're going to leave it as. I'm going to go ahead and tally the stats while we are online here. I can't do anything else. I'd like to bring up my screen, but I've got the settings screen up, which is basically hung up. I think I'm still broadcasting. So we have Francis foul committed. We're just afternoon, so we're in good shape. Suffered by Dyer. Boney with a shot off target. Jordan Ayew with a foul committed on Wilson. Really a scrappy half. A lot of fouls. A lot of fouls here on this one. Shot on goal for Joshua King. Andrew King came on as a sub and immediately took a shot that he missed. Jordan Ayew with another foul. That's where he picked up his yellow card. Another foul. This was Andre Ayew suffered. Josh King committed. Adam Smith committed. Jordan Ayew suffered. Andre Ayew with a missed shot. That's what Swansea will rue, their missed shots. They couldn't buy a good roll from that. Committed Andrew King. Suffered Joshua King. Key a shot on goal. Saved. Joshua King a missed shot. 2 committed fouls for Andre Ayew. Both on Josh King. And that was it. All right, so goals. 1 for Swansea. 1 and 1 assist for Bournemouth. No assists there for Swansea. So 2 shots on goal. 9 off target. So that's a total of 11 for Swansea with 2 on target. 4 and 1 in the second half. 3 shots on goal for Bournemouth. 3 off. So that's 6 and 3. Which leads to 2 and 1. Fouls 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 and 8. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 8 and 4, 9, 10. 1 yellow. No reds. Goalkeeper stats. I like doing this. Swans. That was Fabianski. 3 shots faced, 2 saves. Cherries. Begovic. 2 shots faced, 1 save. And now our possession. We will do, I guess, Bournemouth. It's going to be pretty even. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Try it again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 52, 53, 55. So Bournemouth had a little bit more possession in the second half. We had 98. So 48 and 43, that's 91. 101. Sounds like a frog. All right, so 101 divided by 192. 53% for Bournemouth. 47. Okay. Well, we're going to call that a day. Stem to stern. Unless it's just something vibrating. Could be it has something to do with the sync. So I don't know. I don't know what happened to my. I do not know why my. Let's do that. That makes it. I don't know what happened. Well, I know what happened. I hit the settings, but it fluked out. So I will remember that not to hit the settings for this. So we have a long video here. Again, just trying to remove all the pretenses of, gee, what would make good this? I mean, we're in this together. We are pretty much holed up, and so just wanted to put out a video of this is how you do a game from start to stop in APBA soccer. Try to be pretty descriptive, and if you have any questions, just leave a comment. I'll get back to you. Appreciate you guys following along here. Hit the like button if you would. I'd appreciate that. And we'll be back with some more baseball or football or something here on the channel here pretty soon. So till then, keep rolling your dice and enjoy your days of rolling games. Hopefully you guys enjoy it. It's a time here where we get to do a little bit more of this maybe than we would have in previous weeks. So take it easy, guys.